is Nurym TAIBEK. I'm from Almaty, the former capital of Kazakhstan, still the main city, and I'm grateful to Dr. Nasimi, to Nasimi, and everyone who organized this wonderful event. And of course, I'm very grateful to our main speaker, because he opened up the topic so well, showing a spectrum of important topics. So, my humble self, I'm second time here, so it's an honor for me to speak in this lecture theatre once again. Previously I spoke here almost 10 years ago, in November 2015. At that time I had much more time, and so I covered a range of topics in much more detail. I can now briefly touch on. And my speech was video recorded, and an hour-long record is there directly on my Facebook profile photo. So, most importantly, the topic of this event is UK Central Asia relations, which is of course very broad, and which is very, we should say, which had not yet have sufficient attention. And I fully agree with our main speaker. So it's appropriate to mention such relations have existed since 1558 and 1560, when Anthony Jenkinson became the first Western European traveler and diplomat to visit Central Asia. And I would like to give another example from the last century. In September 1957, my grandfather, Yelubay Taibekov, attended a conference at Westminster Hall, nearby here. And it was the 46th Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, which was founded in 1889 and played a major role in the peace process and the establishment of the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague. The then young Queen Elizabeth II of blessed memory had been on the throne for 5 years at the time, and she delivered the opening speech at the conference on the 12th of September. So it's a big quote, but I want to just mention the main one. So the Parliament at Westminster has seen many changes and survived many crises. It has adapted itself to the conditions of each succeeding age without loss of vitality or strength. This has happened because there have always been men who have realized that it is the principle of parliamentary government that is important, and principles are only kept alive by people who believe in them passionately. Of course, the whole quote is very, very pertinent, and because it is exactly in the line with the topic of British values. So my grandfather Yelubay Taibekov was there at Westminster Hall listening to these words. He was the elder member of the Soviet delegation, and having just successfully completed his nearly 4-year term as Prime Minister of Kazakh Soviet Republic. This was the first Soviet delegation at such high level international event whose elder was a Central Asian. So we are talking about UK Central Asia, so this is also like a legacy. So the event emphasized the importance of parliamentarism, which is symbolic in itself, as history shows that only countries with a highly developed system of protection of rights and freedoms have achieved development in quality of life. So I believe this is the key value we should aim at to achieve, whether it's in Kazakhstan or Afghanistan or elsewhere. So, as it guarantees a high level of security and development. Now to my main topic. I took part in about 20 scientific conferences, mostly in Central Asia, mostly Almaty, Astana, Tashkent, Samarkand, and other places. And about 20 of my scientific articles were published in scientific journals and collections. And also I gave interviews to some top newspapers and TV channels in Kazakhstan, but also international ones, including BBC ones. And so my sort of main idea was to ensure that we avoid any risks in Central Asia similar to those we unfortunately had in Afghanistan. that no movements similar to Taliban, get foot, in Central Asia, because there is a real risk. It is a very high risk, I should say, rather, because I have seen on the spot. So that's why, for instance, one of my articles was called "Islam and War Are Incompatible," because people have forgotten. If we look at Muslim societies, what have they been doing? It's absolutely contrary to the Holy Quran. They're fighting each other, they're fighting others, they're trying to impose the religion which is absolutely contrary to the Quran, which says there is no compulsion in the religion. How after that you can impose anything? So anyway, another article is called "The Contribution of the Golden Age of Islam to the European Renaissance," and another one, "The Original Values of Islam in the Eyes of Western Thinkers," summarizing which I want to declare the following. Had there been no Islam in history, there would have been no peace, no humankind left on earth, apart from perhaps very few scattered gangs hiding, constantly waging war against each other. This is my deep conviction. As is known, original Islam is characterized by pluralism, what we call democracy today, and respect for others' opinions. In a famous hadith, its founder said, "Ikhtilafu ummati rahmatun," that is, diversity of thought in my community can only be in the form of mercy of God, not otherwise. So in my PhD thesis and monograph, I came to a number of conclusions. So the main thing is that the founder of Islam, Muhammad, clearly predicted that after him, Muslims would gradually fall into a deep decline, the results of which we are suffering from today, and because of which there are refugees, and because of which the instability in Central Asia as well. So, and he predicted that we would go down steeper and steeper, but he also predicted that the Messiah and Mahdi would appear who would rescue the true Islam and restore human rights and freedoms. And according to all the observations and analytics, it was none else but Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Persian origin and his community who completely removed all the misinterpretations in Islamic doctrines and values and have prevented the complete disintegration of Islamic ideology and Islamic community and saved them from becoming beasts and savages worthy of full extermination. He freed Islam from further politicization by certain circles with mercenary purposes. He returned it to its secular origins. Islam is a secular religion. So it was only Mirza Ghulam Ahmad who restored Islam's primary spiritual understanding of the concepts of jihad and caliphate, having shown inconsistency in their military and politicized interpretation. Today, the Ahmadiyya community is the only movement in Islam that, in accordance with Muhammad's instruction, declared military jihad to be abolished since 1891, due to the coming of the Messiah Mahdi and the beginning of the era of human rights. Ahmad did everything to uproot the undue politicization of Islam and restore the original interpretation of the concepts of jihad and caliphate, that is peaceful, secure, and spiritual ones, showing the obsolescence and inconsistency of the military and political interpretation as the human values and the humanitarian environment in the world had been completely transformed over the 13th century history of Islam. All anti-Ahmadi Muslim movements oppose the rationalist Ahmadi interpretation with the literalist worldview, the main element of which is a so-called bloody Messiah who converts the whole world to Islam, converts by the sword, killing dissenters and physically breaking all crosses and destroying Buddha statues and other religious symbols in the world, similarly to ISIS and Taliban. Their followers commit terrorist acts everywhere. In the village of Kashgar, which is situated in Osh province in South Kyrgyzstan, they killed an Ahmadi Muslim for obstructing their plans to recruit jihadists and planned to rob wealthy people to finance so-called jihad. Islamic terrorism is skillfully used also as an enemy image without which the military machine of some superpowers cannot grow and their policy of expansionism cannot be implemented. Due to Ahmadiyya community's commitment to peace, human rights and freedoms, non-violence, humane ideals, and rejection of revenge, the worldwide recognition of Ahmadiyya community has been growing from strength to strength. So the Ahmadiyya community advocates for universal human and interreligious unity and harmony, This movement gives biblical, Quranic plots and characters a rationalistic interpretation, consistently upholds the Islamic principle of continuity of all heavenly religions, and recognizes Islam as the last religion and the common successor of all previous major religions. The Ahmadiyya unites all religions in the universal, all human liberal Islam. So I publicly defended my PhD thesis on this topic in Kazakhstan in 2004 in order to help fight extremism and terrorism. And of 13 University Council members, 10 voted pro, 2 con, 1 neutral. Despite the fact that I successfully defended my thesis in public and the council voted for me, the extremist Muftiyat managed to influence their context in the ministry, who officially sent me a reply in writing that I should undergo the defense process again from the very scratch. Thus, the totalitarian system unfortunately is still there in education and science in Kazakhstan. Did not credit me with the degree, but the degree wasn't my purpose. I aim to help fight extremism, that no Taliban, no ISIS appears on or succeeds in Kazakhstan or Central Asia. Later on, my thesis-based monograph was published in the UK and presented at Cambridge University on 17th of March 2018. This is it. So, unfortunately, it's not easy. You see, unfortunately, in Central Asia, they believe, oh, the best Muslims are there in Afghanistan, the Taliban. True, this is true, this is reality. I am from there, I know this. So we together should unite, and persons like Dr. Nassim should explain this is wrong. This is not true, absolutely. Of course, many understand, but still, many started there, in Peshawar, in Afghanistan, etc. And they have come back with these extremist views. So all together we should unite. Because, of course, nowadays there is some change, but still it is there. Because their ideology, I made proper research, is absolutely the same as the ideology of ISIS and Taliban. They also believe in the bloody Messiah. So this is something we should do something on a scholarly level, international level, so that we should end with this, not to allow any more risks in Central Asia. And together we should put up our experiences and build our common future. I do, and also this is the copy of the speech by the Queen in 1957. My grandfather brought it to Kazakhstan. It was with my father and it is with me. So I do appreciate and thank you so much for your kind attention.